Leave it to a kid from a small town to invent new ways to earn a buck.
We lived in this small town, Lake Jackson, that had a lot of pecan trees, and so I would pick sackfuls of pecans and take them on my bike to the local grocer and sell them by the pound. I was 7 or 8 years old. And there wasn't a whole lot to do, so you had to invent ways to have fun. And my fun was to try to make money.
With an accounting degree from University of Texas and years of experience as a CPA, John was looking for an opportunity to join a business. In 1987, opportunity came knocking in the form of investor Richard Rainwater.
An incredible thing happened in October of '87, and that was the stock market crash, which was just a scary moment in time. Richard called me into his office, and he allocated $50 million to me to put to work in the market. I was scared to death, had no idea what I was going to do, but I knew I could come up with a plan, and I had confidence. Fortunately, it worked. It worked very well. So, my first big victory in business as an investor was investing that $50 million and seeing it grow, in a very significant way.
Today, his company, Goff Capital, invests in a variety of businesses. John also owns Crescent Real Estate, one of the most respected real estate firms in the country. Meanwhile, the Goff Family Foundation was formed to help support kids and education in Tarrant County, so junior achievement was a natural fit.
We oftentimes get directly involved in a school, and we try to expose that school to as many good programs as we can, and junior achievement is one of those. It's been a very good way for students to be exposed to the business world and hopefully ignite an interest on their part. Also understand the importance of mathematics and reading and communication and how that all plays into the success of a business decision.
In a life surrounded by business, John Goff has learned life lessons similar to those being taught by Junior Achievement. Lessons like work hard, study hard, set goals, and most of all, never think about limitations.
I love business. I don't ever think I'll give this up. I love to see people succeed, have their families prosper, and their kids get to go to great schools, and all of that is part of, for me, the business experience. It doesn't stop at the walls of the business. It goes way beyond that. So business to me is a very important part of a community, and to me, that's just very inspiring.
Introducing the 2019 Junior Achievement Dallas Business Hall of Fame laureate, John Goff.
I'm John. Good to meet you. Thank you. Am I supposed to put this on? Yeah. She is so cute. Well, thank you. Thank you to Junior Achievement and to everybody here tonight. I've got to tell you that it means a lot to me to see so many people turn out on a Saturday night to celebrate the business community in this incredible city and contributing your time as well as your money. And I hope we're going to hear more about that, Jan, later tonight, about what was raised, but obviously it goes to a wonderful cause to support the youth of this community. I'm deeply honored and humbled by this award. It's now run 20 years, and when I look at the ladies and gentlemen on the stage and those that aren't here tonight, it's an amazing group to be even considered with, so I'm so appreciative of that. And to be included specifically this year with Ed and Mitch is a wonderful honor, and I'm very humbled. And congrats to both. And Bobby, thank you for making that introduction or those comments on Ed. That's wonderful for you to do. Okay, the one thing that the video left out is when I picked those pecans, and this is true. This was a tiny little town, Lake Jackson, Texas. There were probably, at the time I was growing up, 8,000 or 9,000 people. Lake Jackson existed because of Dow Chemical, and basically everybody worked at the chemical plant. My dad worked at the Dow Chemical plant. And it was very much a, blue collar and a smattering of white collar community. Wonderful place to grow up. But the man that owned that grocery store, which was called Farrell's Grocery, it was Mr. Farrell. And Mr. Farrell, at age 8, did not trust me. And when I rode my bike into there, this is true, every single time I'd ride my bike with these sacks, and I had a basket on the front, I had baskets on the back, and I had all these pecans in grocery sacks that I'd picked, he would dump them out into this big bin and sort through it because he just knew I had bricks or rocks somewhere hidden in those bags. That was Mr. Farrell. And he never smiled at me. That man meant business. So I learned at an early age not to trust many people. But it was a wonderful experience. Great place to grow up. But I was ready to get the heck out of there. I love what I do. And when I sold Crescent in 2007, it was an exciting moment, and it was just, it was a wonderful feeling. And it was a couple of weeks later, Cammie and I were at dinner and drinking a glass of wine, and I looked at her and I said, look, I got to tell you something. I just can't give it up. I love what I do. I've just got to keep doing it. And she kind of looked down and then looked back up and said, bless you. She was scared I was going to say something else, and she didn't know what she was going to do with me 24 hours a day. So I kept at it. And I also said, I said, look, all these contemporaries I have at my age, I look around and it's like the wheels fall off when they retire. Just bad things start happening, and I don't want that to happen. And she said, well, I think you're being a little dramatic. I think you just have a fear of missing out. So it was really that simple. I do have FOMO, is that what we call it? But with every passing day, doing what I do that I love, I have to say I'm more and more humbled by the fact that awards like this really don't have anything to do with me, not much to do with me at all. It's all about these incredible people and all this support mechanism around me that really makes it happen. I get all these accolades, but the honest truth is they really need to be carved up and distributed amongst a lot of incredible people. So symbolically, I'm standing on this stage, and I think about this stage being supported by 4 pillars. And the first pillar is the incredible lessons I learned from my family growing up. In a small town, it was a very modest household, and but wonderful. We never missed a meal, or it was just a wonderful upbringing. My mother taught me the power of study, very simple things, just the power of study, to listen and to remain humble. She was Scottish, and the truth is, she even rationed our orange juice. For some reason, she had this thing in her head that orange juice was very expensive, and so she rationed it. And we got these little bitty glasses, and I loved orange juice, but all I would get are these little tiny glasses. But, and my dad, he taught me all about hard work, and that anything I put my mind to, I could do, and to bust through walls, and that's what he did. He was a tough man, and he taught me to be tough. The second pillar is the wonderful, loving family that I have now, led by my beautiful wife, Cammie, and our kids, Sarah, and her husband, Nick, and Travis, and his wife, Shelby, Christopher, his wife-to-be, Avery, who are here with us, Lucy, who's at UNC watching a great basketball game, and Lily, who's here with us. And Cammie's done a marvelous job of blending 2 families into one, and all of the kids have really stepped up in that regard, and we're all very close. In fact, business is very much a family affair to us. It really is. Sarah's husband, Nick, runs an energy services company called Wellflex that we own, and does an incredible job, has grown it from nothing to quite a sizable business today. Travis, it's so much fun to have my oldest son in the office every day with me. So he's president of Goff Capital, and that's just a wonderful experience. It's something I dreamed about, is having my kids involved in the business. Christopher's getting his MBA at UT, and he is kind of plotting his course, but I suspect somewhere in the future there might be that opportunity for him to join the family business. Lucy and Lily are still in school, and who knows what they're going to do, but they're capable of so much, and it's exciting to watch them grow. And then there's Cammie. Cammie, I like to refer to as my secret weapon. She is much more vivacious and bubbly than me. I tend to be very, very intense and focused, and she kind of breaks me out of my shell. And she's engaged in everything we do in business, and it's wonderful to have a partner at home who's truly interested in everything. So she really does. I'm being very truthful. She knows everything that's going on in virtually every business that we're involved in. And she's very insightful. And probably most importantly, she is not bashful at all about giving an opinion or two. And she does that quite often. But most importantly, collectively, they all keep me very grounded. And so we have a lot of fun as a family with our business. The third pillar was a great education. There is nothing flashy on my resume in the way of education. I had a great public education in Lake Jackson, Texas. It was very small, but I got to tell you, I had a lot of great teachers, and I had a wonderful experience going through just a basic public education. There wasn't a lot of insight as to where you might be able to go for school, what you might be able to qualify for. We didn't have counselors and all that stuff. But I went to UT, Hook 'em Horns, and was just so fortunate to be able to go there, start out in engineering, ultimately got into business, and they had this great program that paid for most of my school. If I worked for industry, the company would pay for the bulk of my education. The fourth pillar is my incredible team. All of my partners, and I don't refer to anybody as employees. They're far more important than what that term just doesn't sound right. They're truly partners. And I don't want to go through everybody that's here, but there are quite a few represented, and I've got to point out a few. So at Goff Capital, the family office, I mentioned Travis and his important role, which is so fun to be with him every day. Amy and Athena keep me on track, and without them, I'd be lost every day. Jennifer Terrell, our CFO, and her team, many of whom are here, we've got a great team there, and the family office itself, it's a big, thriving business, and we have a lot of fun. Crescent, led by Jason Anderson and Conrad Shazinski, they've been with me forever. They're incredible, and the team that they have, what do we have now, over 120, 130 people scattered around the country, but mainly based here in the Metroplex. Just an incredible group of people. Basically, what I do is I just serve hot coffee. I like to show up. And, it's just so much fun to watch these businesses grow when you get the right energy and the right people involved. I love that feeling. Canyon Ranch, we've got Susan Doherty, Tom Klein. I don't know if Tom is here, but Susan's here as our CEO of this wonderful brand, and a bunch of her team. And that business, I think, could be as big as anything we've done yet. And then Gainsco. We've got a table with a number of the Gainsco people back there. Bob Stallings and Glenn Anderson. Glenn's the CEO. Bob has been a partner of mine for, probably 30 years. And I got to tell you, he was a critical board member at Crescent. Without Bob's help, we would have never gotten Crescent sold in 2007, just in the nick of time too, I might add. And then a final shout out to Richard Rainwater. Richard, I don't even know how to begin to describe him, but I have to tell you, it was such an interesting relationship. Richard was older than me, but for some reason, Richard saw something in me that I didn't see. He had a plan, and he had ideas that I could do things that I couldn't even imagine I could do. And for whatever reason, he just implicitly trusted me. It was amazing. He never second-guessed me, not one time. He was a partner. He was a mentor. He was somewhat of a father figure to me, but he was also like a brother. And it was a very deep and important relationship that lasted 28 beautiful years. And then lastly, I have to thank the Dallas business community. There is not a place on this planet that is any better than this community to think of an idea, start a business, and grow it. It's a wonderful place. Vibrant, supportive, competitive. Every aspect and dimension of this community it's just wonderful. There's not a better place to be. And I'm so appreciative and thankful of this community. Thank you very much.